Oh, it's
So
recording now.
hello. So here we are for day 2 of the honey advent, and today I have got this is Tibetan honey. Now, I haven't been to Tibet. I have been to Bhutan, but I went to Saudi Arabia in 2023, and there was a big honey festival. It was also a bee conference and a honey festival. And part of the honey festival, there was a Chinese delegation, and as well as other people from around the east of the world. And there was a Tibetan corner, and there's some other Tibetan honey as well, which I will also share. But this one, I think, hands down wins for the best packaging ever. So I'll show you how it opens. So you've got this door, and then you have another door, and then you slide it out, and there is a ceramic pot. It is just such a thing of beauty. So here we go. Beautiful ceramic pot. And I also did a tasting of this in another group with a chap called Mark X on Skool. And he's actually Chinese, so he could translate this. And these two symbols here mean honey bee. And then these, or a bee that makes honey. And then these characters here are actually saying medicinal. So it's from flowers that are medicinal. And when I saw this honey, the couple who were selling it and offering tastings, they were Tibetan and didn't speak English. I obviously don't speak any kind of, I don't speak anything other than English, actually. And so we were describing, I was asking questions and they were describing the honey, all with hand symbols. We drew a few pictures, and they did actually send me a picture of some purple flowers that are meant to be for this honey. And they had 3 different honeys, but I could only buy one. Here's the little tag as well that comes with it. And the purple flowers. Now, I'm not sure if it was either or it does both, but this healing medicine was either for headaches and for stomach complaints. So it's interesting because different parts of the body. What I do need to do is look up the plant, see if I can identify it, and then find out the medicinal properties. But oh, so I've had this honey obviously since 2023. It's in a ceramic pot, so it has been really well preserved. And I actually stored it in a cool, dark room whilst we were away. And you can have a look inside. I don't know how well you can see that. It's quite a dark honey. It has crystallized, which is natural, but it's quite a sticky. It's quite a sticky. So you see it. It's not really wanting to pour, but you've got an idea of the colour there. Now, this is probably the most money I've ever spent on honey, and I give a spoonful to my clients when they come for a treatment here. I've got a selection of honeys, and depending on what I think the client needs when they're having a treatment next to the bees on the bee bed, I'll give them a spoonful of honey, sometimes at the beginning, sometimes at the end. And this is one that I've used a few times. So I'm going to taste it. So the smell, it is slightly vinegary, which is quite common with an older honey. But I know it hasn't fermented, so I'm going to taste it. Now, unlike the smooth honey yesterday, this is quite grainy. So it's not really hard and solid. And the grains actually dissolve in your mouth. So I'm letting it go around my mouth. Now, the most astonishing thing about this honey, it is so fresh. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. It really is like you've just run through a big meadow of wildflowers. It is very, very fragrant, slightly lavendery, actually. It does have a sort of a perfume to it, and it's just so it just dissolves so beautifully, and you get these tiny, tiny crystals, but they do dissolve, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. And look at this amazing artwork. It makes me want to have clay pots to put my honey in. So I'm not double dipping, I'm just licking the spoon. So it really is an extraordinary honey. And to think of the pristine environment that it's come from. So Tibet, the mountains, high altitude. And what is interesting when I went to Bhutan is they have you have Apis dorsata and Apis laboriosa, which are bees, the giant honeybees, which come from high altitudes. And I am not sure if this is from one of those colonies of bees or if it is from Apis mellifera. But there's not many areas where Apis mellifera will go very high. And I did actually meet a beekeeper in Bhutan who had bees, and he'd take them up to 4,000 meters, and there was clover meadows, and his bees would forage on those. There we go, another pattern on the lid. So this is a honey that I need to learn more about, but I do just absolutely love it. And the aftertaste, so it does linger. There is a bit of a persistence, and there's a sort of caramelly aftertaste. So that's quite unusual to have that kind of really floral, really fresh, slightly granular, perfumed. Actually, it's a bit like the violets. Do you remember the violet sweets? It's like a cross between lavender bags and the violet sweets, which sort of ties in with the lilac flowers. So there must be something in that. But yeah, wow, what a honey. So that's day 2, Tibetan honey. And thank you very much for joining me. So I've got Claire, but I know that the sound hasn't been coming up. So thanks very much, and I will be back again tomorrow.